Hello, this is the PLL algorithms that you need to know, I guess. So basically there's two cases of like PLLs when you start. So you have the top layer solved, and then you either have one of two things. You either have diagonal, well, I guess three things. Diagonal corner swap, adjacent corner swap, or they're all like solved already. So if you have an adjacent corner swap, there will be headlights. But here I don't have any, so this must be diagonal, right? And then so, for instance, adjacent would be like, so here, I look around, oh look, I have headlights here, so this is an adjacent swap. And I would swap these two. For diagonal, it doesn't matter which ones you swap, since swapping these two is like the same relatively to swapping these two. So the adjacent algorithm is called T-perm, and the reason it's called T-perm is because it switches these two and these two. And then so the way the algorithm works is like, I don't know, it's pretty long. So you just need to know that this is sexy. So R prime, U prime is called sexy, okay? So it starts off with sexy, okay? Then RF, R2, U prime. Then it's like a kind of inverse sexy, but not really. R prime, U prime, R, U, then R prime, F prime. And I don't really have many tips for remembering it. Just, they broke it up. The algorithm's written down and it's broken up into various like sections, I guess. So try to remember each section. First section, sexy. Second section is like RF, R2, U prime. Then it's R prime, U prime, RU, which is like a kind of a wonky inverse sexy. Then R prime, F prime. Finish it off. And then so to finger trick it, if you're like this, it's super easy. Well, yeah, sure, it's super easy. So I do sexy like normal. Then I have to regrip, I guess. So maybe it's not that easy. So I sexy, then I'm regripping. I let go like after this, and then I'm regripping here. And then I do RF with my I do the F with my index finger. I do R2, U prime with my left hand, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, F prime. And then if you're in this position, then the way I would recommend you do it is you push the first U with the sexy. So R, U, R prime, U prime, then R prime, F with no regrip, R2, U, and the rest of the algorithm is the same. So that's cool. Then if you have diagonal corners, so that's if you see no headlights on any side, that means you have to swap the diagonals. And so the way I do that is with this algorithm called Y-perm, and it's called Y because you switch this with this, and you also switch these two edges, which is kind of like a Y, I guess, something like that. And then so it's like two main blocks of like, well, it's two OLLs combined technically. So it's the OLL for this. And this is the first thing you do, and then it's this OLL. So if you know Y-perm, you know both of these OLLs. So start off with a F, and then I would regrip for this probably. So it's F, this is the first part, R, U, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, F prime. And I guess one way to remember that would be like, you can watch this pair here. So you insert it. It's like, it's from here, you insert it here, right? Then you move the top layer, then you put it back. Okay, so I guess it's all for that one U prime in between. Okay, and then so you get with this OLL. And the way you do this OLL is you do sexy, then sledgehammer. So this is called sledgehammer. It's R prime, F, R, F prime. And then that swaps. If you do both them together, you do a Y-perm. So once again, F, pull out this pair, and I insert it here. R, U, R prime. Then I do a U prime. Then I put the pair back. And then this is just sexy, sledge. Okay, and then now I've oriented the corners like magic. And then so now there's two other algorithms I'd recommend you know. It's U-perm and well, I guess it's just U-perm, but there's like two directions. It's called U-perm because it switches these three, and that's like a U or something like that. And then so first of all, this case is the counterclockwise case. So the way I recognize it is I look at the right side, and if it's an opposite color, so this is the opposite, orange is the opposite of red since they're on opposite sides, that means it's counterclockwise. And if it's the same color, it means it's clockwise. And then so the way to do this is, I had a mnemonic when I was starting. It's something weird. So it's like R and U over and over, and then like, I think it was like the second one, the 8th one, and the 9th one are prime. Something like that. So it's 1, 2 is prime. I'm always doing RU. 3, 4, not prime. 5, 6, not prime. 7, not prime. 8 is prime, so U prime. 9 is prime, U prime. 10 is prime. 10 is prime, U prime. Then R2, and then you're done. So it's 1, so 1 not prime, 2. So it's 2, 8, 9, 10, was it? So it's 1, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then R2. That was pretty wonky. Okay. And then the other one is the inverse. So Isaac taught me this trick, and it's like super cool. Basically, the way you do this, it's just the inverse of what you just did. So it's like this, right? And it's like, it's awkward because you have to regrip a bunch of times. So the best way to do it is you do an R3 instead of an R prime in the algorithm. I think this is super cool. Okay, super cool. It'd be this case where it's like it's not an opposite corner. So you regrip, and then you have all 3 fingers on the bottom 3 pieces here on the right side, and then thumb on top, and you do R2, and then you rub the U. This is called the rubbed U, okay? So you do R2, then you like rub a U with your 3 fingers here on the top layer, right? Then you do R, okay? And then my ring finger's still on this piece, R, U, right? Then R prime, okay? U prime, then I do R3 instead of U prime, so I don't have to regrip. So I do R3, right? U prime, R prime, U, R prime. So, okay, I'll go through that again because that probably made no sense. So I start like this, R2U, rub the U, right? Keep my ring finger on this piece, RU, R prime with like my thumb, U prime, then R3, and now I'm like this, somehow, U prime, and then R prime, and then U, R prime. So it's like regripless in a sense, which is pretty neat. Yeah, those are the need to knows, and then maybe a bonus video will have the don't need to knows, but that's like so much work. Bye.